Hey guys, it's Kelsey. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe and hit that notifications bell. You can also find me on Instagram at kelsey.ryan. Okay, so if you don't already know, I started a campaign called Be Beautiful. This campaign focuses on body positivity and loving yourself for who you are. As part of this campaign, I've gone and spoken to some kindergarten classes, and I've told them about my story, about how I was born with one hand. You know, this is how God created me. And I've also read the book Uniquely Me by Trace Wilson. It's a story about a little boy who was born with one hand. It's really important for me to share my story because I think differences should be accepted. I think differences make us unique. You know, we all have differences. Some of us have brown hair, some of us have blonde hair. Some people are tall, some people are short, and that's okay. That's how God created us. So since we're social distancing right now and the schools are closed, I thought it'd be a good idea to read the book to you all here on YouTube. Once there was a little boy who only had one hand. One day, the boy noticed all of his friends had two hands. "I'm different," the boy said. He wanted to find out why. He walked through the woods until he saw a large snake. "Snake," the boy asked, "why don't I have two hands?" "Why don't you have a tail?" the snake replied. Then he slithered away. The boy didn't understand, so he kept walking until he found a small pond with a fish in it. "Fish," the boy asked, "why don't I have two hands?" "Why don't you have scales?" the fish replied. Then he swam away. The boy, still confused, climbed a tree until he found a large bird sitting at the top. "Bird," the boy asked, "why don't I have two hands?" "Why don't you have wings?" the bird asked. Then he flew away. "I don't know," the boy said, becoming sad. He kept walking until he found a leopard lying under a tree. The leopard was older and wiser than the other animals. He had a patch over a scar on his left eye. "Boy," he asked, "why don't you have spots?" The boy thought for a minute, then replied, "Why don't you have two eyes?" "Because I don't need two eyes to know that I'm still a leopard." Then he walked away. The boy finally understood. He ran back past the bird, past the fish, and past the snake. He ran all the way back to his friends. The boy's friends looked at him and asked, "Why don't you have two hands?" The boy replied proudly, "Because I don't need a tail or scale or wings or spots or two hands to know who I am. This is the way I was made and I am uniquely me." So I think this is a really cute story with a great message. You know, in the story, his friends ask him, why don't you have two hands? And I think it's okay for you to ask questions. You know, you're curious, but make sure you ask it in a nice way. Some people might be sensitive about their difference, but as long as we treat people kindly, that's the most important thing. So in the story, you know, he goes throughout the jungle and he talks to all these different animals and asks them, why doesn't he have two hands? You know, why is he different from his friends? And all of the animals answer with, well, you know, why don't you have wings? Why don't you have spots? Why don't you have scales? And so the point of the story is that we all have things that make us unique. I think having all of our differences is what makes us all beautiful. I think differences are beautiful. You know, God didn't want us all to be the same. There are lots of differences out in the world. You know, there's some people like me who have one hand. There's some people who are in a wheelchair. There are some people who have prosthetic legs. You know, there are a lot of people out in the world who are just like me and only have one hand. There's baseball players, dancers, and even football players. Their difference doesn't stop them from doing what people with two hands can do. They just do it a little differently. And if you guys have seen Finding Nemo, he has a smaller fin, so he calls that his lucky fin. So next time you see someone who's different than you, just remember to treat them kindly and with respect. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave any of your questions or anything you'd like to talk about, just leave those in the comments below. I'd love if you guys give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more. Thanks, bye!